If you want to reach 100% of the marketplace, you've got to use 100% of the ways. You cannot, and I do not believe in my heart of hearts that you should hang your hat on online recruiting portals.
Welcome to Stay Paid Insurance and Financial Marketing. Unlock the secrets of success in insurance and financial services, where each episode delivers valuable tips and strategies to elevate your marketing game and help you succeed in both life and business. Brought to you by Reminder Media.
Welcome to Stay Paid Insurance and Financial Marketing. My name is Joshua Stike, along with Luke Acree, and our guest today is Mike Stromsoe. Mike is the founder of The Unstoppable Profit Producer and is America's leading trainer and authority on agency business achievement. Having done over $250 million in production, Mike is taking what he's learned over his career and helping other insurance agents grow their business, build generational wealth, and achieve the freedom that allows them to live life on their own terms. Mike, welcome to Stay Paid. Thanks for being here.
I'm honored and privileged to be here. Thanks for having me, and let's help some people today.
Yeah, I love it, man. I already loved your energy. You know, I was looking into your story. I mean, starting out selling insurance as young as like 24, then building up an agency to like 18 people, doing $250 million. It's pretty impressive, and then you end up selling it. So I'd love to hear, you know, when you look at building the agency and attracting people in, what is it that you tell other agency owners or insurance agents that want to build a downline? How do you attract a team like that to scale a business like you did?
You know, and we also talked before we started today about what's the one thing that we hope people take away from today. And let's go ahead and give it to them early, shall we?
I love it.
You attract exactly what you are and who you've become. Because if you want to have more, you have to become more. Yes, you. What we affectionately call the people in the mirror of truth. You know, there's only one thing standing between you and success. Just one thing. It's not that complicated. It's the mirror of truth. Right? So if you want to have more, you have to become more because you attract exactly what you are and who you become. So the first thing you need to get to work on is yourself. So you need to find the things that you need to invest in to improve yourself. Most importantly, your mindset, because your mindset is your skill set. So you've got to improve yourself. Find the things that you need to invest in to improve yourself. Maybe it's an audio training. Maybe it's a book. Maybe it's a seminar. Maybe it's a webinar. Maybe it's listening to this podcast. Whatever it is.
It's definitely listening to this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a maybe. It's definitely. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I fell short on this day. But yeah, absolutely right. So anyway, invest the time. And most importantly, don't think it, ink it. Take copious notes on what you learn here. And most importantly, implement them. So back to attracting people to your team. So it's important that you create a multi-step way. And more importantly, if you want to reach 100% of any marketplace, whether it's recruiting, interviewing, and actually hiring new team members or attracting new clients through the suspect, prospect, becoming a client evolution in marketing, it's all the same. If you want to reach 100% of the marketplace, you've got to use 100% of the ways. You cannot, and I do not believe in my heart of hearts that you should hang your hat on online recruiting portals. Because I have done so much homework in that arena. And I've got ways, and I've taught this enough. I've done this enough, most importantly, and I'll be happy to drop some numbers on you if you want.
Yeah, I would love to hear, because that's where I think people struggle, is with the how. So they understand the why of what they're trying to do, but they don't really get, like, okay, if I'm going to go try to attract agents, I can post online. I guess I can reach out to my sphere. How would I approach that conversation? Like, what worked for you in recruiting agents? What was the activities you were doing, or the myriad of things you were doing to try to get people into your funnel?
Myriad of things. So if you have something to write with and write on, you may want to get that ready right now. So again, back to 100% of the ways. First thing we did was create a career page. Now, a career page is off the backside of our website, and I'm not suggesting that you're magically going to get people start dropping into your interviewing funnel via SEO. That's not what's going to happen. But let me take it back up another level. What do you have to sell? What do you have to sell as a business? And here's the bigger question that you need to answer every single time, every single interaction, every online positioning post, if you will, that you are looking for your next excellent team member. Why should somebody join your organization over and above any and all other options available to them? Because they don't need you. They've got plenty of options out there, but why you? Why you over and above any other options? So that is what the career page begins to, the question it begins to answer. So we strategically and intentionally, back to the top of the show, we invested in ourselves in a big, big way to learn the right way to do it, to learn the right positioning. We had a brand guide. We knew what our brand was. I don't have one of my affectionate smiley balls hanging around, but our brand was, we inspired happiness in people's insurance program. We had smiley balls that, were our brand. So if you looked at our career page, that would be the top picture, and you'd see our team, you would see our brand. People either like it or they don't, but that draws them in. And then we intentionally created a video on the career page, recorded by, a professional videographer with intentional words from our team, not from, I was in the video clips, but it wasn't me. It was mostly them, because that's who they're going to be hanging with.
Did you speak towards, like, to go a little, I guess, deeper on that, from my understanding, is like, we inspire happiness, right? That's amazing. Right. That's altruistic. That's where you have to begin, right? It's almost like visionary. Did you find that when you got them into the funnel, it was like the potential income they could make and the comp structures you had, and you leaned heavily on that? Was it the training and culture from like a messaging standpoint? How did you get somebody, okay, they're interested because they see a big vision. Now they want to learn, well, what can I make? What can I achieve with this agency, with this person, Mike? How did you refine like the sales pitch, or where did you lean heavily onto? Were you closing people on the comp they would make with you and stuff?
May I ask a question or answer your question with another question?
Sure thing.
Okay. What motivates you?
Myself.
Are you money motivated or time motivated or something else?
Well, I would say ultimately I'm time motivated to control my own freedom, but money is the tool that gives me the ability to have that freedom.
That's normally one of the 5 factors that you need to use to sell the best.
Okay.
Not the best available. Everybody's motivated by different things, right? So here's another big takeaway for everybody. Please ink this one. Don't just think it. The better the question, the better the results. And I 100% believe to this day, and I don't know that this will ever change, the war for marketplace talent is won at the interviewing table. Your recruiting efforts are simply designed to get them to that interviewing table. But that interviewing table is where it all happens. And so that's where you get to, forgive the term, the brass tacks, if you will, as to what motivates them and what's important to them. Because the best, not the best available, they want to be able to see a pathway to their future success, whatever that is. We have a getting to know you form, which is part of our onboarding process. And one of the questions on that onboarding form says, how do you like to be praised and recognized for a job well done? And the answer to that question, and we've had teammates fill that out over the years, it's all over the board, right? I remember we were praising and recognizing one of our team members for their 1-year anniversary on the team. And, we all jumped in for a picture and, celebrated them and all this kind of stuff. And I remember that day, and we always have a little gift and something for them to take away. And the gift for this person was Western movies. And I'm saying to one of the other leadership team members, I'm going like, what's up with the Western movies? They say, we look back on their getting to know you form, and that's how they wanted to be praised and recognized. They like Western movies and
John Wayne, right? John Wayne. Gotta love a good John Wayne movie.
Hey, whatever. And it was a female, by the way. So whatever. I get it. Let's not go there. But so they want to see not only a pathway to their future success, the best, not the best available. They also want a yardstick by which they're measured. So this is what you put in front of them and say, hey, this is the way we do things, back to comp plans and everything else. Once you identify what's important to them through the interviewing process, then you can begin to design something that meets them where they are, if you will.
Did you find in the interviewing process that people would tell you what you wanted to hear? Like, and how did you suss out or dive down to really figure out, is this true? Like, person might say, I'm money motivated, I'm hungry, I'm driven. All right, well, what were some of the tactics you used to go, well, how do I really find out if this person is hungry and driven and money motivated? What were some of the things that you would do to accomplish that in your interviews?
Our hiring system was a multi-step effort.
Okay.
Starts with a phone interview. I mean, we do a phone interview because how much time do people spend on the phone helping people in business?
A lot.
Right? So we need to check their phone skills. We need to check their tone of voice, all of that, right?
Love that.
We have a specific set of questions, how quickly they answer, how fast they're able to shift on a dime and everything else. It's a quick 20-minute phone interview. So the thing that we did in our business, it got to the point because of the growth of the business, I wasn't involved in the phone interviews after a certain point in time, which was awesome for me, right? So I had actually two people on the leadership team in the office who liked doing phone interviews, which is fantastic. And it was actually two gals, and they had that sense, right? They would pick stuff up. So we did the phone interview, and then we did a first interview, which is either face-to-face or on Zoom, okay? And again, we generally had one or two people, sometimes different leadership people in that session. And then we went to assessments, okay?
Okay.
And we have a professional that we've had a relationship with since 2009. This person uses DISC, motivators, sales IQ,
okay,
and some other, assessment program. But she's a trained, hired gun, if you will. And she knows people inside and out. She's got all those achievements behind her name with all the letters and everything else. So
all the credentials. Yeah.
Credentials. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I was searching there. So anyway, she's got all these credentials and she helps with this as well. So we go through the phone interview, we go through the first interview, and we have the answers to the questions on that. Then we do the assessments. Okay. So we got the leadership team members looking at all this, collaborating on all that. However, where the rubber hits the road is the next step, which is the team interview. And in the team interview, we strongly encourage one male, one female in the interview. I mean, back in the old days when we didn't have the leadership team and all the team members, I mean, my wife was gracious enough to join me in those interviews.
Oh, that's great.
Because the gals can pick up things that we can't and vice versa. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember one interview that we did in the team interview that led up to all that because we review the paperwork and the assessments before we go into the team interview. And we got done with the team interview, and what we do is we do a quick debriefing to make sure that we're all on the same page. What did you see? What did you hear? What do you think? Et cetera, et cetera. One of our leadership team members, a gal, said, "Did you catch that when she answered that question? She lied." I'm like, "She did?" She goes, "Yeah. I mean, last time we talked to her in the first interview or on the phone interview, she said this, and I asked her the same question in a different way, and she lied." Wow. I said, "Good, she's done." So that's how we do our best to, quote, sniff it out, if you will.
Yeah, I love it. Yep.
And here's another one for your notes. Hire slower and fire fast. Look, I'm not insensitive to human beings and all that's important, from compassion and caring and all of that, and forgiveness and grace. However, there's two kinds of relationships in the world, right? Personal relationships and business relationships, and they are two different things. This is business relationships only, right? So with that being said, if they get in the door, you have 89 days, and that was our mentality. We have 89 days to figure out if Josh and Luke told us the truth and if they are really who they said they were.
Yes.
And they will generally reveal themselves within the first 89 days, commonly within the first 30 to 60. And you have to have the chutzpah, if you will, or the guts, If they are not who they said they were going to, because during the interview, they're going to tell you everything you want to know, right?
Yeah.
They're going to tell you everything they think you want to hear. But so if they're not, then you got to cut and move on.
Yeah, we've seen. I was going to say we've seen similar. It's like we've tried to refine our interview process as much as possible, and I think we do a lot of good things, very similar to what you're talking about. One thing that we recently started implementing that I think is going to make a world of difference is a technical interview. So the technical is where you literally have the person do the job. Right. And it's hard because it takes longer, right, to get to the interview process. But hey, if you want to sell on the phone, then we actually put you on the phones for an hour, and we have a basic script that's super easy that you've memorized. You come in, and we got to hear you make these calls and dial and all that stuff. And if you're going to hire for graphics, we need you to design a graphic right in front of us, type idea. So like the technical interview has been phenomenal, but I still agree. I go, people on the interview, there's professional interviewers out there, but you'll know when they get in. And one of the things our new VP of sales said, that's been with us a while now, but one of the things she brought to our culture was never turn a red flag pink. And so if you have any sense in the interview that it's a red flag, whatever you do, don't turn it pink because you loved them on the other stuff, because they're at their very best on the interview. Right?
Yep.
They're only gonna get more comfortable. I don't know if you found that to be true. They only get more comfortable and more relaxed. So that's gonna come out in spades when they get more comfortable and more relaxed. But I love the saying, never turn a red flag pink. All right, well, let's switch gears and go into, you got them hired. Let's talk about, because we're sales and marketing here, how do you help agents market themselves to get leads, or what do you teach them in getting leads, and then how do they prospect those leads? Like, what did you see, or what are you seeing today?
Well, most importantly, let's step back for just a couple steps. It's all about the vision for the organization, and that's one of the things that we teach.
Okay.
We teach every agency, better said, that we work with. Okay, because it's all about keeping the agency healthy. Every agency that we work with, we help them install a vision plan. Okay, so it's a vision plan for the future of the organization. And we were trained on this in the insurance agency business, which was a huge part of how we took our agency to where we took our agency. And so not only do we have quarterly goals, but we have a 1-year plan, we have a 3-year forecast, we have a 10-year vision, we have a marketing segment of that, we have core values and a core purpose and everything else. So we help them install that in the business. So the activities and the leads and everything else that these people are working are contributing to that. And part of what they have to sell, aside from themselves, obviously, is the 3 uniques of the agency. Okay. So you've got to install support for them to help them answer the question. It's a little bit of a different kind of a question, but it's very similar to, why should a team member join your agency over and above any other options available to them? The question is, why should a prospect move all of their insurance to your agency over and above any and all other options available to them? And the beginning of that is social proof. It's not what you say you've done for other people. It's what other people say that you've already done for them.
Love that.
That can help convert people. So it's proper. I like to think about this as positioning. That's my word and how I teach it. But it's proper positioning of the social proof. What other people say your business has already done for them. And then it's backed up by risk removal, which we were talking about before we started this morning. You have that complete marketing program. In our agency, we were super fortunate to have a CMO, which was a chief marketing officer, who had support below her. So we built a complete, robust marketing department that had the ability to generate as many leads as necessary to make sure that the absolute gold nugget of your marketing program. And yeah, so I keep a gold nugget right here as the reminder that, we need to make sure the gold nugget is robust and complete to the best of our ability, which is your list. Your list is your absolute gold in pursuit of the prospects. I mean, you got to have a good list. It has to be solid. It has to be, you know, all of the data must be current and accurate to the best of its ability. And there's ways to clean the list as well. The other thing that I think is, you know, like the left-hand, right-hand companion to the list is the what we call the ICA, which is the ideal client avatar. Okay. So who are you pursuing? Right? Is it an industry? If it's commercial insurance as an example, is it an industry? And we recommend, let's say it's restaurants, right? All right, if you want to pursue restaurants, because that's my affinity. I mean, I started working for my dad in his restaurant when he was 12. And I still love to cook to this day. It is my affinity, but, you know, I think you may have read that in the beginning of my story. I was working in a restaurant at a I was running a restaurant in a horse training facility, and the horses never asked for a day off. And neither did I, because I love the restaurant business, right?
I like the sound of that. No.
But I never saw my family. And so I was really struggling with that, and I felt pretty inadequate, right, as a husband and a father, until my dad said, hey, why not join me in the insurance agency business? And I said, is he freaking crazy? Me, an agent? And then he said the two magic words that change everything. We're closed on Saturdays and Sundays, which is where I started this awesome adventure, incredible adventure. So back to ideal client avatar. Okay. So if you're going to pursue restaurants, it's smart to look at sub-niches for restaurants. Okay. So I was sitting in a bar at an event back in 2006 with an agent who had a similar affinity to mine. And he said, hey, I've noticed that you seem to know a lot about all of this stuff. Would you mind if I buy you a beverage after the event's done today? I'd like to, you know, talk to you about a couple things. And we did. We sat there for 3 hours.
Wow.
So I helped him come up with the one thing that changed his future, right? And so pursuing a sub-niche and getting in the door with that sub-niche, because in the restaurant business, and I'm not sure what your audience is, and forgive me for how am I going to say this, but I'm just going to say it, right? So, because I grew up in the restaurant business and I worked here for a lot of years. There's a lot of grab ass going on in the restaurant business, right? So with that being said, I said, how skilled are you and knowledgeable on EPLI? And he said, I know a good amount. I said, become the expert. That's your lead in line to get into these restaurants. Most people don't have it. Use that as the lead and then learn to sell the rest of the account. And I still believe that's a smart way to penetrate niches nowadays if you're going to pursue commercial lines. So, but then you have to lead and you have to be trained and you have to be skilled in closing the whole thing. So he learned to do that. Not only did he grow up in a niche, which was pizzerias, he dominated the niche nationally. He was on Domino's board of directors as the insurance guru. They took him to Hawaii for their big annual trip. And he took that model, turned around and duplicated it in another industry and dominated that.
Wow.
That's incredible.
So anything is possible. And let me talk about the training and learning to get better. Because if you want to have more, you have to become more, like we said in the beginning, right? Because you attract exactly who you are and what you become. So in becoming more daily, we call them daily habits, #daily habits, and become more in the daily habits. You know, we've got to work and hone ourselves first every single day. And one of my early mentors taught me way back when, invest the first 15 to 30 minutes every single day in yourself. And the next 15 to 30 minutes, marketing. Okay. And we have created a sales growth accelerator, which is a plan for any producer in any business, frankly. And we help them get their plan in order, which includes all of that and more. We went way off the edge on that question. Sorry about that. But
no, that's awesome, man. Yeah. Talk about your Fast Start program then, because I know you have that over at your producer, like your academy. So talk about that, how people can get more information there.
Yeah. So a lot of people, if I get onto a podcast or a conversation, they hear us talk a little bit about this stuff from our journey. You know, to point, I was a 35 plus year very proud independent insurance agency entrepreneur who just achieved a lot of achievements, if you will, just by taking action. Because you never lose. One of two things is going to happen. You're going to win or you're going to learn. Wins the lessons. Yeah, they're failures, but those are your teachers. And so what we share on what Josh was just talking about was UPPFastStart.com. UPPFastStart.com. That's our online virtual training. It's a good intro to learn more about the 3 Ps, which is our simple 3-step blueprint, right? It's a simple 3-step blueprint that we installed in our agency business. Excellent people, world-class processes and systems, and you simply promote the heck out of it. What's your result? You grow your business, create wealth, generational wealth if you build your book the right way, grow your business, create wealth, and have more freedom to live life on your own terms. I got to the point in the agency business, I was kind of dealing with this. They didn't need me anymore. They said, Mike, we just need you to do a couple things. Do this, and go away. We got it. In all seriousness, what a wonderful, privileged place to be.
Well done.
Yeah. So that's the dream. That's what everybody wants.
Right. So anyway, we teach that, the beginning of that in UPPFastStart.com. And if anybody wants to get faster, because just go to that website and it'll tell you when the next event coming up is. But if anybody wants to, have a conversation sooner, just email me at VIP, very important person, which is you, VIP at UPPLife.com.
Okay.
UPPLife.com. Because what UPP Life is, we're trying to help everybody live the UPP life.
Love it.
Which is that wonderful place where they tell you to go away. We got this.
It's like the 7th level of business leadership is basically pushing you out of the business. Where
right.
you literally don't even have to be a part of it anymore because you've built the structures. That is the entrepreneurial dream right there.
Awesome.
That you build it all up. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, Mike, thank you so much for coming on. You guys can get those links, UPPFastStart.com, as well as that email address, VIP at UPPLife.com. You can get show notes for this episode as well at StayPaidPodcast.com. Again, Mike, thank you so much. And thank you all so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and want to show your support, first way is head on over to Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star review and a comment. We'll read it here on the show. And the best way to support the show is simply share this episode with someone that you know. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. You can follow us on social media at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Mike, thank you so much. A lot of golden nuggets in there. My action item for everybody listening to this is he gave you something really that is gold that if you implement right now, I do believe will help your business, which is the idea of a sub-niche with inside your industry. I think people don't realize it's like us at Reminder Media. We're in the marketing space. Marketing is too broad. We chose the referral touch point space to begin. We went all the way down to not just touch points in general for leads. We went down to how are you keeping in touch with your current clients and past clients to drive referrals. And that grew our business. And we focused on that for almost 15 years before we started to venture into these other parts of marketing. And so find your sub niche, right? If you're in insurance, what is your niche that you're going to be world-class in? That will open up the door for you to extend and go into other areas after you've mastered that. But don't move until your cup's overflowing, right? Until your cup's overflowing from the sub niche that you're in and you're just reining in the money, as they say, and you've really just have this money to invest in other places. Don't move. I think that's such good advice that we have learned as well in our journey. Remember the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business. It's top producers take action. So take action on that today.